Hello, I just wanted to do a real quick comparison of a few of these, the most similar of these models, these sort of classic retro Casio models here. We've got the Casio F91, the W59, the F105 and the W86. Just compare and contrast really. The W59 and W86, you can see them here, got slightly larger buttons than the F91 and the F105. I don't find that makes any difference in operation, but they're slightly bigger on these two. They've all got the same basic functionality. Time of the day in 24 or 12-hour format with seconds, day of the week, day of the month, alarm clock. There's your alarm. The other button there is the hourly chime. They've also all got a stopwatch, which is operated in exactly the same way. Lower right button to start it, upper left button to pause it, and again to reset it, and then that's it. They return to the main time screen. For me personally, that is great. The front screen on all these tells me all the information I need. When I'm at work, I have to write down the time and the date multiple times a day. So yeah, quick glance gives me all the info I need from a cheap wristwatch. The F91W and the F105 are marked as only water resistant, whereas the W59 and the W86, the W standing for water resistant, are both 50 meters water resistant. So that kind of gives you a bit of extra peace of mind if you go swimming and that with these, I suppose. But I've got to say, I've only just got the F105, but the F91W, I've had these watches for many years and swum with them in oceans, showered with them, swimming pools, all that kind of thing. I've had this one since 2010 and it's been in oceans all over the world and various other bits and bobs. I've never had one of these leak ever, and I must have 8 or 10 of these, I suppose. In my experience, all your cheap Casios with just a water resistant marking have been plenty water resistant for swimming, surface swimming, you know, diving down to 2, maybe 3 meters max, that kind of thing. Absolutely fine. If you did happen to get one that leaked, well, they're only a few quid, aren't they? More expensive than it used to be though. We used to be able to get them for 6 quid from Amazon and Argos. Can't now, but still, classed as a dirt cheap watch. The F91W and the W59 just have the notorious divisive little LED backlight there, which you can't really tell in the daylight. And that just illuminates from one side of the screen and it doesn't tend to illuminate massively, unlike both the F105 illuminator and the W86, which lights up the entire screen with that beautiful sort of bluey green illuminator, electroluminescent light. Beautiful, I love that. And these other watches, you know, the F91, it gets slagged off. The only thing people dislike about it is the crappy light. Well, like I say, I've got quite a number of these F91s. There's just a couple I've got kicking about at the minute, and they do vary depending on if there's space between the acrylic glass and the screen. If there's a little bit of space between there, then it illuminates much better. And there is a guy on Etsy selling like little clear acrylic spaces. You have to take the watch apart and slot it in there, but it creates more of a space and that makes the light much more effective. But I've got to say, I've never really had a problem with the light on most of my cheap Casios, and I find that they do work to tell time in the dark just fine. So yeah, I've always found the little green LED on these, the F91, W59, they work okay. If it's dark, you press the little light button and you can tell the time. But I know for a lot of folks, the electroluminescent, the illuminator range is a much superior light in terms of it lights up the whole screen really brightly. In the middle of the night as well, that can sometimes be a bit bright to my eyes. I don't have a problem with either of them. I don't mind the lights on these ones at all, really. It does work. So you've got the same functionality on all these watches. This one and this one have slightly larger pushers. This one and this one have the electroluminescent backlight. This one and this one just have the little weak green LED in there. Slightly different straps on a couple of them. They're all made out of the same kind of material. The one on W86 has these little vent holes, which may add to a cooling effect in summer, I guess. I've not really noticed much difference. But there is a slight difference in size and they do wear slightly differently on the wrist. F91W is 37.8 millimeters lug to lug. W59 is 37 millimeters lug to lug. F105 39mm lug to lug, W86 38.7mm lug to lug. Again, a lot of folks say these are too small, really. I quite like small watches and certainly really hate massive watches. But yeah, these two are a bit smaller than these two for sure. Width without buttons, F91 is 34.6mm wide. W59 without buttons is 35mm wide. F105 without buttons is 35.8mm wide. And W86 is 37.2mm wide. F91W is 8.3mm thick. W59 is 8.6mm thick. F105 is 9.8mm thick. The W86 is 10.2mm thick. So in terms of how they wear and how they feel, for me the F91 just slides under gloves and cuffs really nicely, like it's not there. F91W, W59, F105, W86, it's just a couple of mils, isn't it? Difference in thickness. There's the F91W at the bottom and a W86 at the top, so yeah, just a few millimeters thicker from smallest to kind of one of the biggest. But it does make a difference on how they wear on the wrist. There's the F91W on my approximately 7-inch wrist. I don't think that's too small. There's the W59. There's the F105. So a little bit thicker than the other two. Not a chunky watch by any means. And there's the W86. Again, a fair bit chunkier, but again, by no means a great big bulky hulking watch whatsoever. Let's just weigh them quickly. F91W, 20.87 grams. W59, 21.32 grams. F105, 22.34 grams. Ooh, getting a bit heavy. And the W86, the fatty of the group, at 25.48 grams. Ooh, what a beast. So what do you reckon, guys? Which do you prefer? The W59, you just don't seem to hear talked about really. It's a great little watch, very similar to the F91W with increased water resistance. Only just got this one, the F105, quite like the blue, quite like the chunkiness, also like the open lug design on these two, probably more than the closed lug design on the F91 and W86. W86, I've had these for, possibly not this one, but I've possibly had these watches for even longer than I had the F91Ws. Yeah, F91W, just a stone cold classic, isn't it? Me, I can't decide, I love them all really cheap, accurate, super durable. Boil them, mash them, throw them in a stew. They'll just keep on rocking. They just keep on keeping on, won't let you down, and our pocket money prices. Absolutely fantastic, all of them, I think. You've got a preference for these guys or not? Yeah, just wanted to compare these. I think they're really similar. Functionality is the same, a few little slight differences. Just wanted to have a look at them really. Thank you for watching, and hasta luego.